All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show. Let's get TikTok going. If you guys want to go ahead and double tap the screen, or actually if you're over on YouTube, hit that like button. Interact with people here. Would appreciate it. How's everyone doing? It's not my usual time slot, so we'll see, really. We'll see. You know, what's interesting about this camera angle? I checked my hair in the mirror before I came live. I was like, oh, is it okay? And then, like, this angle really doesn't. I gotta test it before I hit the live button. I'll fix it in a second. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, it's alright. It works. There wasn't even this. This thing hates me. What is going on, everyone? What's happening? If you guys want to go ahead and double tap the screen, comment, interact, help get some people in here. Yeah, it was not rough like that at all. I don't know what happened. 20 seconds. I'll fix it in a minute. Your entire For You page is MAGA today? Yeah, mine too, pretty much. It has been for some time. It has been for pretty much some time. All right, if you guys want to go ahead and double tap the screen, comment, interact, help get some people in here. We got some story stuff coming up. Alcatraz. Alcatraz. This is fun to wake up to. Or I guess that was last night, but Alcatraz. Donald Trump wants to reopen Alcatraz. Why? I don't understand. We have more modern prisons. We don't need Alcatraz. And on top of that, like, okay, so just a few things here. One, it would be easier and cheaper and more convenient to build a brand new prison in California, literally anywhere else. Literally anywhere else. Tariffs or taxes on other countries, buddy? They're actually not. You're paying for them right now, or will be in the coming weeks. Literally, so, okay. I don't know if you guys know this, but when you rebuild like existing infrastructure, it becomes way more expensive than if you were to just, you know, decommission and create new elsewhere. Right? This is why, like, when they demo a building and rebuild it, it's because it's almost always cheaper just to get rid of it and build something new. Right? And in the case with Alcatraz, like, yeah, you could tear down all the buildings and all that. But you got to remember, like, the cleanup cost of that, because you're going to have to bring barges in, you're going to have to bring equipment in, you're going to have to bring in crews, you're going to have to ferry them in every day, you're going to have to pay for the time that they're traveling the bay from the ferry, and then you're going to have to transport all the prisoners there. You're going to have ferries running every day. It's expensive. It's expensive. Just the operational cost of running a prison on an island is expensive. Washington State, we are in the process of decommissioning McNeil Island, which is a civil commitment unit, because it's so expensive to run. Where we could move, you know, and I think they already started doing that, moving those people to Walla Walla, where it's a lot cheaper. So think of the fear that it will instill. I'm sorry, what fear is going to be the fear? What fear?
Yeah, let's just think about that. That the psychological terror to these individuals. You're not going to some cushy prison. You're going to Alcatraz. You're
I
on your
don't
way to Alcatraz Island.
I don't know why that matters. Rikers
That's
Island
that's
still
the whole point of
exists.
it.
Rikers
That's the whole
Island still
point.
exists. It doesn't stop them.
I know, but it's going to expand that space now that we have to deport these individuals to.
Deport individuals to. What are you
Well,
talking about?
that's the
This
main
is
reason
for.
he's going to have them. They're trying to say he can't send them out of the country, so now they're going to be going to Alcatraz. That's the main.
He was talking about starting up a prison. So you just want to
Well,
terrorize
that's what they're
people?
going to be doing, though. They're going to use fear
It
on these
says right here.
individuals.
What individuals? They're talking about using this as a prison.
Exactly. They're going to house these immigrants instead of sending them.
Hold on. Stop. Do you see what you're saying right now?
Yes. What am I saying?
You're completely confused.
I'm not. They're going to be using this instead
Vastly
of sea
confused.
cot. They're going to be using it instead of sea cot.
Migrants. Where do they say that at?
The people have already been talking about it. That's the reason behind it.
That's not what the Trump administration has said. And even
Well, what they're
then,
saying is
why
maybe a
would we
prison.
want to? Why do we need to reopen an entire prison?
Just because of what I just said.
Because it's a fear tactic? Don't you think people would be like, "Yeah, I'm going to Alcatraz. Awesome. I get to say I was in Alcatraz."
No, that's not going to be awesome for them. They're going to be, it's fear. They're going to be scared.
It's fear. I don't know. The fear tactics
Yes.
don't seem to have been working in the Trump
I
administration.
think it's going to, though. I do think it's going to.
Based on what?
From just conversations I've heard.
They're just talking about reopening Alcatraz. It has
Oh, the
nothing.
prison,
Showing
right.
it has nothing to do with migrants, but you're using migrants and criminals
going to be, though.
synonymously.
It's going to be, though.
Gonna be what?
I just came up for 2 seconds for that. I got to head to the. No, it's not a joke, everybody. That's seriously what they want to do.
Oh yeah. Like we're getting Greenland, right? Like that was supposed to happen.
We're going for Greenland also.
Like
51st
that
state
was
Canada.
that was supposed to happen. Yeah. Yeah.
That's just Trump trolling. Come on, we knew that.
Oh yeah, but this isn't. Yeah.
This definitely isn't. No, we're definitely going to go for this.
So he lied about the Greenland and.
No, he's just
that
trolling.
is
Just
it.
having a good time. He's just
Oh,
having a
yeah.
good time.
But this
He's just having
isn't
a good time.
this. So this he's not lying about this. Yeah.
He's just having a good time.
Having a good time. That's you Oh my god. These people are professionally unintelligent. Hey Josh, I got just joining. If you guys want to double tap the screen over on TikTok, help get some people in here. But if you guys would double tap the screen over on TikTok, get it up to 50K likes in here, I would appreciate it. That'd be good. What's up, Jess? What's up, Josh?
Not much real. Oh, he left. I'm just curious. Caroline Levitt literally was asked by her alternate media if Greenland and Canada were trolling or truth, and she said they were truth, and that the only thing that was trolling was 2028. So just for clarification on that last guy, that's not trolling.
She's trolling on 2028, even though it's only because they're not actually going to have elections in 2028.
Well, I mean, fair.
Only because they're not actually going to have elections in 2028. So
Let's not talk about the fact that the Alcatraz conversation, it's a $60 million net benefit right now for tourism, but you want to exchange that for $13+ million a year in costs to house prisoners?
plus the insane amount of money it's going to cost to rebuild the prison.
Oh God, I mean the reconstruction to get water and everything functional in that building. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be astronomical, especially with inflation under this current administration. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, you know what I'm saying? Like, God.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Sean,
the fear
appreciate it.
argument is silly anyway.
Yeah, the fear. They always do that. Fear doesn't work for. No one really gives a shit. They don't even realize they're going there until they show up.
Death penalty
Sean-
already exists.
Yeah. Sean, appreciate it for the 5. Thank you. I vote for sending migrants to Alcatraz to see the museum. Fair. Sean, appreciate it. Thank you. Sean, for the 5 over there. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat? Yeah, I saw this morning. I was just like, this guy's an idiot. And it is always like, just to point out, like, very clearly, all this is a posture, right? Like, they're not going to reopen Alcatraz. Alcatraz is owned by the state of California anyways, but they're not going to reopen it. And the point is, like, it's incredibly expensive to rebuild the prison. It's incredibly expensive to operate the prison, and nobody wants to pay the cost of that. And you can quite literally, existing infrastructure is very, very, very expensive to work with. Building new is not. So like, why you could literally build a prison anywhere in any blank space in California, and it would be a fraction of the cost. And they're doing this very clearly just to symbolize like we're an authoritarian nightmare. When you come into the Bay, we want you to see oppression. You know. So.
Crazy.
Josh,
Speaking
I
of
got the
museums,
mute.
did you?
Yeah.
Alright. Oh, Rico, he's Trumper. He's not gonna.
Hey,
slur up,
Tommy.
I guess.
So he's gonna say super smart things, is what you're saying?
Rico, I loved when you threw that football over the mountain.
Over the mountain.
Yeah.
Tommy,
What's up? What's going on?
have you ever sucked your dad's dick?
That's fucking weird. All right, man.
Literally, why?
Tommy,
You
have
need
you ever
to
sucked your
be.
dad's dick?
You need to be medicated, bro. It's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. Every time people like him speak, I'm like, fuck. There's no way Darwin was right. He had to fuck something up. You know?
Oh,
I think the Habsburg family lineage runs deep sometimes. So speaking of museums, though, you said something about museums that Trump just ordered. Well, the Department of Justice just ordered the wall of gun violence victims to be dismantled off of the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms building. They had a wall dedicated to firearms victims, so gun violence victims. Did you hear about that?
No.
I did hear about that. Yeah.
I suspect that's the NRA. That was their little jab.
Awesome. Swell.
Hey man, I was thinking about it. So taxes are done through our representatives, right? So taxation with representation. A tariff would literally be taxation without representation, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't we like have a whole war about that?
Yeah. It's about tea and stuff. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
It's like-
Isn't that funny?
It's like they
I thought
totally
that too.
forgot about it.
Yeah, 1776. But actually, you know, hold on. 1776 until it's Trump that does it. It really is crazy. I think that's the amount of contradictions that they can't rectify that on a daily basis get more extreme because of Donald Trump is actually, it's so crazy. So crazy. I mean, you know, we hate taxes, but also tariffs are okay. We hate inflation, but it's okay if Trump causes inflation. We have to put up with that for a little bit so it'll get better. You know, it's just like day after day, there's so many vast contradictions that they can't seem to rectify, and they have no problem existing in that world. It's wild to me. Honestly, if that's a lot of fucking people on the right that need to be fucking medicated. I'm gonna be real. Like they ain't no shame in the pharmaceutical game. They need something because it's I don't know how you are that detached from reality on a regular basis. I don't.
I'm jealous, honestly, at this point. I'm kind of jealous.
I mean, it makes life a lot easier to not have to rectify
God, ignorance is truly
contradictions.
bliss, man. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
I wish I was just a simpleton, you know?
Yeah.
Life would be easier. Life would be easier. And they're over here complaining about, by the way, is 19% inflation over 4 years. Large to do with the pandemic. By the way, a lot of that inflation was a direct result of Trump. But they're complaining that that's bad, and Donald Trump just won up the shit out of that by a lot. By a lot. You thought 19% inflation was bad? Buckle in. Buckle in. We're going to start seeing stuff off the shelves here pretty quickly. Probably, I don't know. I think they gave a 6-week lag time, so we're probably 4 weeks from seeing stuff off the shelves.
What is this shit? What about I just made a video about this morning, but did you see that stuff where he's like, these kids don't need all this junk and $3 or $5. You don't need 250 pencils. You can get 5. Like, No, like it's not communism, but like I know that that's what I've been told communism is for the last like 4 years on this app. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, is this what you guys wanted? Somebody to literally dictate to you what you can purchase and how much and in one quantity and all of that good stuff. Like, is that what you were down for? Meanwhile, he's got golden
Right.
toilets and his kids sitting atop, giant stuffed lions or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure things out. I feel real confused right now.
Right. They don't need all
Yeah,
those. So we should limit it to one gun, right? Because they don't need to buy
Oh,
all
I mean,
that.
100%. I mean, we don't need all
Oof.
that junk,
We don't need 30 of them. We only need 3.
right? You don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it
Yeah.
weird how, literally I've been called all of these things, and when I ask the definition is quite literally, I don't want people telling me what I can own and how many and da, da, da. I'm like, oh, cool. Well, that's
Yeah.
what he's doing right
When the
now.
government
How
controls stuff.
how dare they tell me, whether or not I can buy gas and put gas in my car? Also,
So-
yeah.
That interview
I was-
infuriated me. She didn't push back on any of that. I was getting pissed. I was like, why are you not telling him that he's lying about the gas prices?
I mean, is someone I
I think-
know, right? Yeah, go ahead, Josh.
I think they're kind of understanding the concept of consolidated bargaining, though. Like they're understanding now that if all of America, 350 million people say, hey, we're not going to buy these products from China, that has an effect on things. But they don't accept the fact that that's what they're doing. That like that in a way, that's what he's doing it wrong. Like he's using the negotiation tactics in a completely wrong and just frivolous way. But that's what he's doing. But they think it's a good thing when he's doing it wrong. But if we were to do that to benefit the people of America, utilize our natural resources and do the same kind of bargaining with that instead of just passing it off to privatized companies, that's like they're kind of getting the gist of it, but it's wrong.
Well, it's
They're
so funny
almost
to me.
there.
They're almost there. They've almost come full circle because it's funny to me. They'll be like, "We don't need to buy as much." I swear to God, I saw this video. We don't need to buy as much. We don't need to buy as much. Amazon has been screwing us forever. And I was like, "You so fucking close to getting the point. Billionaires are screwing you." And they're like, if I were to point that out, like, so you want to get the billionaires that we should tax them because Amazon? No, they should keep all their money. But you want to make less money from us buying stuff? They're so close to getting the point. I mean, they're right there. And they're missing it in favor of being an idiot. Not Ethan.
You're totally wrong, man. Walmart, GMC,
Whoa, bud.
Amazon
Listen.
came out and
Hey,
said
hey,
they're not
hey,
passing
hey.
tariff
Hold on. Thanks. Calm
Stop
down for a
spreading
second.
misinformation there,
Stop.
sweetheart.
Calm down.
Cupcake.
Calm
Throw his
down.
mic, man.
Calm down.
Mm,
They came
sweetheart.
out and said,
Well, you're spreading
hold
misinformation.
on. They came
right
out.
there.
What
You're
did
not
they?
telling the whole truth.
Hey. They came out and said what?
Well, Walmart, Ford, GMC, Google is all free. They've all came out and said that they're not going to pass the tariffs on to the customers. Google's free, man.
Where
Go
they
source
say?
it up.
Where did
I'm
they
not-
say
I'm
that?
not
Hold
here to-
on. Where did they
I'm not
say
here
that?
to teach
Wait,
you.
hold
I'm
on,
not
hold
here
on,
to
hold on,
teach
hold on.
you.
Ford says it's not passing on tariffs to customer.
You know what
Funny.
happened? You know what happened, Ethan? Is Toyota had a Toyota-thon, and you looked at it and said, nope, tariffs
Right
aren't
here.
Oh, my
happening.
Lord.
While
They do
Ford
this shit all the time.
CEO, it's right here. While Ford CEO Jim Farley initially stated that Ford wouldn't immediately pass on tariffs to customers, the company has since indicated that prices may increase starting in June if tariffs remain in place. Ford has offered an employee pricing discount to customers to mitigate the impact of tariffs, but this offer has since been extended and may be
Damn,
impacted by
told ya.
raising costs of
You
tariffs.
should go in this live and go
Wait, you're
read
no,
and
wait,
go listen to what you
wait, can I
said multiple times.
Ethan, calm down. Can
I'm
I ask you a
done.
question?
I'm done.
Ethan.
You
Ethan,
just
now you're
proved
gonna run away. You're
myself
gonna run
to
away.
Ethan.
I'm not going to run away.
Ethan.
Okay, well
sit
then
up
let me
here
finish
and, until
talking.
you-
Then let me finish
no,
talking.
You're not going to talk.
Ethan.
It's just kind of
No. I just want to say real quick.
Ethan, you gotta stop.
No.
It's got nothing to
Ethan.
do with you,
Real quick. I'm just gonna
Cupcake.
say
It's
they're offering
got nothing to do with
incentives
you,
to sell
Cupcake.
off product
Fuck up,
because of the
Cupcake.
fact that these products are already in stock.
Cupcake.
I don't
All
need you
right.
to call me Cupcake. I know that you're single. It's fine.
Ethan, you can come
Um,
back when you're not screaming. But yeah, Jess is right. They're offering this to get rid of their excess stock before
Correct.
they're having to pay off the tariffs and shit. So this is not something that's going to.
This is
But
basically a way
Ethan,
for them to make a
you're
front win.
you're wrong because they haven't paid tariffs on their current stock. Just to point out, they haven't paid tariffs on their current stock. But it literally says, and you're wrong, the company has since indicated that prices may increase starting in June if tariffs remain in place. Why? Because
So
they're going to
the
be
very-
getting tariffed on new shit coming in and being produced.
The very last cargo ship came into port today, I think, or is expected today. The very last non-tariffed cargo ship coming from China. So even if they do extend employee pricing, the car still costs more to make because we get the raw materials from China. So like the costs are going up, man. I don't know what you. I don't know how to
basically-
explain it to you simpler.
Yeah, employee pricing is like, we know we have to sell cars and we're still making money. Employee pricing is going to go up with tariffs. I don't know if you know that. Like, it's not staying stagnant. Like, it's not like employee pricing is going to stay where it is. Inevitably, they'll have to raise it. And then they'll be like, employee pricing, and you're just going to pay a jacked up amount. But yes, cars are about to fucking
Employee pricing's
skyrocket.
like black book plus 15% usually. Is
Also,
what- is what they'll-
those deals are faux deals. Like they're still making a massive amount of money on
Mhm.
those incentives. So to pretend like they're offering you some type of bargain is also equally laughable.
Right, they try and get you on Ford Motor Credit.
Yeah.
So they can make thousands and thousands of dollars more in interest.
Every
That's-
dealership has what's called a black book, and it's literally just a book of what that cost was to that dealership, what that car cost. That's how much it costs a dealership. They have to sell it for at least that much or more. You'll never get below black book, but typically like employee pricing is black book plus 15%, which is a good deal.
Yeah. What other company you said he's not passing on tariffs? You said Ford. That's not
Walmart,
true.
he said. He said Walmart.
Walmart
Which
not
sounds wild to claim
passing
to me.
on tariffs.
I mean, and if they don't, it's only because they're a big box store and they're able to take some of the brunt initially. But the reality is they're going to eventually raise prices like everybody else. He's ignoring the fact that tariffs are going to unilaterally shut down small businesses. So this is the biggest hit on small businesses because they just can't afford the overhead and buy in bulk in the way that big box stores can. Like that's like I don't understand. Like so you hate small businesses or something?
Walmart is attempting
funny
to
thing is-
absorb the impact of tariffs instead of passing them on to customers, primarily by negotiating lower prices with supplier and diversifying the supply chain. They're not saying they're not going to, just that they're trying to lower prices, which everyone is doing. So these guys are like, oh, they're trying to stop tariffs from hitting the consumer. They have no fucking idea what's about to happen. It's actually kind of crazy. Sorry.
But even if they do that in that instance, they're literally going to unilaterally shut down small businesses. You will not see mom and pop shops and convenience, all these things exist anymore.
Yep. If you guys
Who
want
do
to
you think's
support
going to buy up those businesses going under?
By the way, video views have been so far down. It's been rough. What were we saying? Who's gonna buy up what?
I was just saying, who's going to buy up the shops that are going under? The small mom and pop shops,
The big box stores
the big box
Yep.
stores.
Yep.
Yep.
coming in, sweep in and take them.
Yep. If you guys are over on YouTube want to hit that like button, would appreciate it. If you guys want to support the channel, there's a Venmo Cash App in the bio. You guys can sub or send corgis over here or coins or whatever you want. You can sub over on YouTube or head over to Patreon in the link tree in the bio and sub over there. You guys get access to the playbacks. And same thing with tier 2 on YouTube. It's been rough. I don't know. This is going to be kind of I'm going to be real. This is going to probably be the month that determines whether or not I keep streaming. Because, you know, TikTok video views, if they're not coming back to some degree this month, probably not
been
going to
bad.
sustain. Huh?
They've been bad.
Well, it's been
I
really
mean,
bad.
I've had horrible bad views for months now.
Yeah, for 2 months it just dropped off. So, I mean, for me, it's not even like helping really at all. But I'm hoping
That
it comes
sucks.
back
I just
this month.
became eligible for the creator fund.
Yeah,
Oh, go figure.
yeah, it's rough. So I'm planning on posting some content this week, and hopefully it goes out and makes some money, because the last 2 months have been nothing.
I don't make money in the content creator fund, honestly, so it's not. I mean, I just want traction on my videos to raise money for my campaign. That's the ones that I get frustrated with.
Yeah.
I-
You
I
could.
Those
didn't
get
do it.
throttled.
I just got the notice that I did. I got a notice. I got a strike yesterday on my account. There was somebody talking about the disabled community, and my comment was, it's so expensive to have a disability. Was my comment. I got a strike on my account for that. So fucking weird. I don't know what's going on.
Crazy. By the way, tomorrow I'm going to be live at 9 a.m. and we're going to run it all the way to 3 p.m. We're going to have a subathon. And then the next free weekend I have, we're going to subathon that weekend. Hopefully we get enough subs to stick around and continue content creating, but it's been real rough as of late. So
Doing a 48-hour subathon? All right.
I don't think it'll be 48 hours, but do it for a weekend. I don't know that I have
Nope, you
that
said
kind
it.
of
I heard
energy.
it. It's 48
Dark
hours.
and mysterious. What's going on? What's your take?
Hey, what's up? I just got up here. I'm getting so many ats on this in these comments, but I think. Well, okay. So when Biden was president, what was the excuse for why prices were going up so high? We couldn't
don't think
control it,
there's-
right?
Any
COVID?
excuse?
Yeah, COVID. We couldn't.
It's an
control it,
excuse.
prices
It's
were
just a
going up.
factor. Yeah, it's
What,
COVID.
Yeah, what was the factor then?
The supply chain was disrupted immensely, and because of that, you're going to have people still need product, so that the inevitable occurrence is prices go up. That's kind of how supply and demand work.
Right. Yeah. So we're
Yeah,
so
but prices
dependent
were
on these
going
other
down.
countries that we can't control the prices in the time of a pandemic, right?
Wait. But is the
Right,
purpose
so
of the
we're
tariffs to make us
reliant
less
on China.
dependent?
Can I talk? Can I please talk?
No. But you just made a
Like, why
a
do you keep
claim.
interrupting me? I haven't even got a whole sentence out.
Okay.
Okay, well, you made a point, but sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like, I haven't even got to my point. This bitch keeps interrupting me.
Whoa.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah, kick me, dude. That's it. It's rude to interrupt people. Sorry, you are
it's
what you
rude
are.
to call
Hey,
people.
man, do you still
what
have
the
all your
fuck?
teeth? Talking like
Yeah,
that?
I do. Yeah, I
Do
do.
you?
Yes, sir.
Somebody needs to push them back.
I'm hearing
Hey,
the
I'd
belt.
like to see you
Hey,
try,
listen.
little bud, little bro.
I'm hearing the belt. You need to get away from that dude's crotch and get back up off your feet, off your knees, man. Okay? It's not that serious.
You're hearing a what?
You're a belt. The belt you're unbuckling.
That's
Tell that
that's
guy
not
he
a
can
belt,
wait.
little bro.
Tell him he can wait 10 minutes.
It's not a belt, little bro. I don't know why you guys think about gay stuff all the time.
I don't. I'm just wondering
You
why
literally just brought up.
It's not. He's like, it's
doing
not a
something
belt.
gay. That's exactly
not
what
a
you're
belt.
thinking about.
It's not a belt.
It's
That's
on your mind
projection as
24/7.
fuck.
All you can think about is taking a hog straight to the throat.
That's
Hey,
crazy
that's
projection.
You're the one who brought it up.
Do you know what
Oh, you're not
projection
the one
is,
who
bro?
Just brought it up.
He got real
Yeah.
defensive.
That's when you.
He got real defensive. He was really upset about that one. It's okay. You can delete the grinder.
It's
after
funny
this so
because
feel
you
better about
literally brought it
yourself.
up and then you're trying to say I brought it up. That's sad as
Because
fuck.
it sounds
dude.
like you're caressing a belt right now. Still doing it.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
okay. You bring up. So when you hear a belt, you think, oh gosh, I
done,
gotta
Jess?
suck some wiener.
I'm kind of done.
Ah, Jesus Christ.
I'm telling you, the projection here is weird, man. Real weird. I don't usually call
Is
them
it?
hogs,
I
by
don't
the
know
way.
why you said
I
that.
don't usually call
It's
them
a weird
hogs,
thing
by
to
the
say.
way.
It's a liberal thing.
It is a weird thing
be-
to say.
be
Take
about
it.
gay stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you have a debate
It is-
here? Are
you're
you
like,
just
"Ooh,
coming to?
I heard a belt. Let me just talk about sucking wiener.
He keeps
I mean, he
talking
actually
about
Like, that
didn't
it.
is-
say
that is odd.
but
That is
was
very
where
odd.
your brain went.
He did. He literally said
He
that.
actually, he just
actually
keeps
did.
talking
he
about it.
literally did say that. What did he say?
He
What did
just
say
keeps
then,
talking
Jess?
about it.
He
It's
said, "Tell the
crazy.
guy to hold on." You are the one that's assuming that's what he
Oh, oh.
meant.
This is
Oh,
this is
okay,
how that
okay.
Hold on,
Okay,
shut up
so
for a
he
second. This is
did
how that
say that.
conversation. This is how this conversation worked out. I made a joke about it, and he's like, "Yeah, I bet you think about caressing it, glistening in the moonlight, all on your knees and stuff, huh?" He's like, it's like he's living on a reenactment here. I bet you lay up in bed at night and think about it.
Yeah, man,
Right?
my wife reads those kind of
Erotic
books, too.
novels about it. Post on Reddit about it. Oh my god.
Now he has bad internet.
All right, can we?
Hey
somebody else
Tia,
next.
appreciate the 5 gifted. Tia, as always, appreciate the 5 gifted. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Tia? Tia, appreciate it. Thank you. Tia, as always, appreciate it. Again, if you guys want to support, I don't know what's going on with TikTok and all that shit. So I don't know. Move content over to YouTube this month, and hopefully we do pretty well over there. That it alleviates all the bullshit that's happening over on TikTok. So send them a thing to unmute, but you know,
He's got bad internet.
we're gonna have to go here if he doesn't stop. Dennis, appreciate it. Thank you. Not sure if you talked about it, but what are your thoughts about the Slate EV customizable truck? I think it's fine. I wouldn't buy one, but you know, it's all right. I don't think that they should have fucking crank windows, but I think that's
Is
a
he gone yet?
big mistake. I don't know.
Let's make it gone.
Let's make it go away. Josh just blocked him. Well, I guess he can get back to the hub now. So, Tia, appreciate it for becoming a member over there. Thank you, Tia. Yeah, if you guys want to support, would appreciate it. I think it's rough right now, too, because, you know, obviously tariffs are coming. People are concerned, and so I'm not getting video views or subs anywhere, pretty much. So it's, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But Tia, appreciate it for the 6. Thank you. Jordan, appreciate it. Thank you.
So the Slate is a Jeff Bezos company. He backs that, and Jeff
Yeah.
Bezos also backs Donald Trump. So, you know, it's not Elon Musk, but it's Elon Musk light. I don't know. Same fucking guy. Billionaires are all the same. They taste exactly
Yeah.
the same.
Yep. Dow Jones is fucking rough here for sure.
Oil dropped about 4%.
Oh, they think that's good because they don't understand
Yeah.
prices.
OPEC said they're opening up the gates and it's gonna drop, and they're gonna be like, "Look what Donald Trump did to lower our gas prices," not understanding that oil rigs all across the country are closing.
Yeah, that a bunch of people are going to lose their jobs again. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
But they say so they have 13-gallon tanks. They save $13 at the gas tank, so it's important, guys. It's important.
I don't think they'll save that much. I mean, these refineries are still pretty much at they're like, the thing is, like, our refineries are at maximum capacity. They've been pumping out, so it's not like they can, you know, just out of nowhere come up with more production. So it's not like, I mean, because here's the thing, we've seen more expensive oil, but it's just the amount of refining that they can actually do. So I don't really think that it's going to reduce prices that much, but it is going to cause a lot of businesses, a lot of rigs to go under. So we saw it happen through Trump's first term 2 different times. And if we're going to watch it again, if OPEC, so this is what, like, people don't understand, right? It's like, why don't they just get OPEC to produce more oil? Even if they did, we can't refine it. We're at maximum refining capacity. So it's not like it's going to affect fuel prices that much. But 2, because of the type of oil that we produce in the United States, when global oil prices fall, we aren't profitable with the type of drilling that we do, which is slate rock, right? For the most part. There's obviously the stuff in Texas, but or shale rock. Like, I don't know, I said slate because of the EV. Shale rock, like, it's expensive. Fracking is expensive to pull it out of the ground, and getting it to market is expensive, and it needs to be, you know, anything less than $45, and a lot of rigs can't operate. Anything less than $65, and a lot of rigs can't operate. So if it doesn't stay above 65, Some rigs just are not making profit, and then they close, and then you end up with a boom and bust cycle, which is what we saw through 2020. So I just did a quick
You know how
search, and
they
you are
found-
wrong.
You know how they
By all
found
means,
the first
join.
oil deposits in Iran? Iran?
Mm-mm.
It was so back in the early 1900s, they were on a massive oil search, right? Everybody was looking for oil. They started reading history, and they saw through Iranian history, as well as in Saudi Arabia, they talked about how the streets had street lights in them, and it was ran by oil. So they knew that they had to get that somewhere. So they went to, it was I think it was southwest Iran, where the first oil deposits were found, right there at the Iraq-Iran border. And it was literally like seeping up out of the ground there, and they were using it historically for 500 years or so to light oil lamps within their streets. They found oil in the Middle East from history. That's my point. They read books.
Nice. Got someone on the request. I got the mute. Why do no sane people, like normal people, just join? If you guys can double tap the screen over on TikTok, I would appreciate it. That'd be cool. Thoughts? What's going on?
Hello everyone, I'm fine. How are you guys doing? I'm just hearing the debates here, and it's a good conversation. So, am I late? What are we discussing on here?
Tariffs. Are you debating?
Debating about tariffs? Okay, well, from my screen, I'm seeing it says tariffs are just taxes for Americans. Is that your stance, or is that the stance that you are against that?
That's my stance.
Okay, can you explain a bit why you are saying that?
Tariffs are just placed on the consumers when stuff is bought in that we inevitably have to pay.
Okay, does that mean we're assuming that the total amount of imports that we made are more than what we are exporting, which means counter tariffs are going to hurt us, and that's going to be a burden on us Americans. I think that's your stance. So is there any evidence that shows that counter tariffs are more, we lost to counter tariffs more than what we get from the tariffs?
Yeah. But it's
Okay,
not it's not just about like a monetary one-to-one. I'm confused. It's more than that.
what do you mean?
There's economic
I mean,
implications.
yes. So from what angle are you seeing this? For example, there are some products. With regard to some products, yes, we are going to suffer, I think, and it's going to be a burden for Americans. For example, one of those are like the electronic products. We produce most of the electronic products outside of America, I think, because it's cheap to produce them there, and we are going to suffer when tariffs are put on those. But on the other side, local products and local sales will boom, and specifically the farmers. And I think that will have good importance, and like to say boldly that this is going to be dangerous and it's going to be like a tax for Americans, and it's going to hurt the American economy. It's like assuming there is a well-known study on this or a well-known research on this. I mean, even some experts are saying like this is a new thing, and it's very difficult to say that's whether it's going to hurt or support us. I mean, what makes you say this with confidence?
That it's going to hurt us? Say
I
what
mean,
with
what
confidence?
makes you? I think when you are saying that this is going to be like a tax for Americans, you are indirectly implying that it's going to hurt, I mean, the regular Americans, right?
Yeah.
So my question was, this like a new policy, probably not attempted before. So how are you so sure? I mean, how are you be able to have a strong stance on this when this is like a new measure? It's like an
This
experimental
isn't a
action.
new. It's not unknown. This isn't really an experiment. We know the effects of tariffs globally. This isn't new. We know what's going to happen.
I mean, when does America apply? Like we applied such tariff on this extent.
Prior to the right after the stock market collapse of 2000.
You know,
or
there's
of,
experts in this,
1929.
right? Like experts have gone over this. Right-leaning experts have gone over this. Economic experts, they're saying this is going to be a disaster. We're already seeing the effects. This isn't an experiment. People who are knowledgeable are telling us what's going to happen. We're not guessing at this.
Yeah, we saw
I
what
mean,
happened
I
is
don't know.
first term. So, Andreu, appreciate
Are you
it.
aware of the
Shell
farmer
halted.
bailouts?
Shell halted. I'm going to read this really quick. Shell halted South Texas production due to high extraction costs and low prices. Texas is already calling to stop production. Andreu, appreciate it for the 5 over there. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Andreu? Thank you.
I was just going to say, we not only have historic evidence of tariffs being negatively impactful on our economy, but like, let's talk about the fact that his last term, we had to bail out farmers in a massive level. We watched some of the biggest number of farmers collapse their businesses, whether they consolidated into big ag or they sold to real estate developers. Like we've already seen, and China lost no money in that transaction either. Like they made money while we lost billions of dollars in revenue and economy growth.
Dope. He's gone.
Okay. Well. All right. If you guys want to support the channel, Venmo, Cash App in the bio. Go join the Patreon or sub over on YouTube or sub over on here. Would appreciate it because it's looking pretty rough. This might be the end. We're gonna have a subathon tomorrow, probably the next weekend, and see what we can muster. But end might be near if we don't. Maybe like another month or two, if something doesn't change with TikTok. So we'll see. Yeah, I don't think it would be. And just to be honest with you, the time frame would probably change if I stopped doing this. So I don't know what time it would be. Pretty much everything would change. We'll see. We'll see.
You think TikTok's going to stick around? I mean, how long are into the 90 days are we right now? 30? How long into the 90-day extension are we right now?
70, but we're at 30 or something. Someone said you switch up your
Oh, it
time
was
slot
70
entirely,
days? That's
gatekeeping the
right.
schedule.
thought it was
I have
70 the
not.
first day.
I have not switched my time schedule. It's always been the same. There are some days where it's
19.
different, but I have not changed my time slot. It's always been 6 p.m. Pacific. This time slot is different, but the nighttime slot has not changed. It's been different for the last few times over the last month, but it has not changed. It's been that way for years. Kurt, what's up?
Hey, well, thanks for letting me on, first of all. So when you say tariffs are just taxes for Americans, does that assume that taxes are bad?
That assume that taxes are bad? Well, I mean,
Yeah,
if
to
you're a
me-
Republican, that would be your take, yes. Not all taxes are
that is
bad.
my take.
Some
I just
taxes,
want to make sure they are to you, too.
some taxes are bad. I wouldn't say all taxes are bad.
Are taxes that are tariffs, are those bad?
Tariffs
Yes, because it's
are,
without
in this
representation.
capacity, yes, would be bad.
Okay, so here's my question. If Canada is implementing tariffs on the U.S. and the U.S. responds, which I think is just a negotiation tactic to get all the tariffs to go away. But in the meantime, when implementing them to try to accomplish that, that America puts tariffs on Canada. If tariffs are just taxes for the country that is levying them, why would a country like Canada respond to American tariffs with taxes on their own people, which is what you say tariffs are?
Because this is an economic war. And Canada realizes that. Every country realizes that.
But
Wait,
how does
wait,
how does a
wait,
country
what
win
was
an
the
economic
tariffs?
war?
What
By
tariffs
But just to
were
point
we
out,
paying to Canada? What were we paying
yeah,
tariff-wise to Canada prior to this trade war?
there was already tariffs on from Canada
Really?
to
What were they?
America.
What were they?
I don't have a whole list, but I've heard that there was a tax or a tariff
You
on
heard? Where did you hear it from?
from the
Because we
news.
had well, I mean, what news? Because we had an agreement that came under Trump's previous administration with Canada and Mexico specifically that we were working basically a North America, working entity, that we would be helping each other out, and we had certain understandings that a number of production would be coming out of our three countries together. Like this was his agreement that he replaced NAFTA with. So I don't know. So I'm curious what tariffs you're claiming were being unilaterally placed on us by Canada that we were retaliating to, because he keeps saying he's not doing that. The reason that he's doing it is because he wants us to manufacture like lumber and other things here. I mean, he changes every day, but I'm just trying to figure out what tariffs you're referring to.
Yeah, so I heard that there was a tariff on Canadian lumber and milk, and there were some other things I don't remember.
You heard that, but like, do you have evidence of that, or you just heard it? Like, I mean, I heard that
I mean,
like pigs fly. I mean, I don't know. Like, that's
same
really,
place I hear lots of things from the news,
you
and
don't go and look things up. I mean, the mainstream media is pretty unreliable.
sure,
as
sure.
a
Every
whole.
every time I open a new browser tab, MSNBC opens up and it shows me stories that
Oh, I don't use MSNBC. I use actual like literal laws and data and actual factual
Primary
information.
Well,
sources.
now you're just trying to be condescending. I was trying to come on and ask
Oh,
a
no, I'm
legit
not.
question.
No, you're saying that he's putting the tariffs on to retaliate against existing tariffs. I'm asking what existing tariffs were there prior to this trade war, because based on what I
Okay.
see, we were
So,
not we had an agreement with Canada. We were not getting tariffed by them. So I'm just trying to figure out what you're talking about.
okay, so you're claiming that there were no tariffs from Canada on America.
I don't believe
That's
there was
your
any
position.
large scale tariffs on the United States from Canada. No.
Now it's large scale. I see.
Okay, you're saying that all of lumber was being tariffed. I'm just asking for some evidence of that.
I don't have
Regardless,
evidence. I'm not in the lumber business. I don't have
whatever-
evidence that there's American tariffs on Canada because I'm not in the business of selling things to Canada. So, do you have evidence that there's actually tariffs? Have you collected a tariff or paid a tariff to Canada?
I don't own a business, so no, I wouldn't. The business passes the literal fund, the increase in tariffs onto the consumer. I'm not a business.
Oh, when businesses are taxed, they pass that on to the consumer?
Yes, when businesses are given tariff prices to buy goods from other nations, they are going to up price their product, so we end up paying the tariffs. Yes, that's how tariffs work.
Just on tariffs or on all taxes?
No, just tariffs.
Really? Why would they just do tariffs?
Because tariffs make a majority of the products that we use in everyday life, from packaging to food to parts and vehicles. They make those incredibly costly, meaning they have to tack on that price to get it back. So they're actually making the same revenue.
Okay, so it's your position that only tariffs / taxes, when forced to pay, a business is forced to pay them, that's the only tax that they pass on to consumers?
Yeah, there are no
I mean-
absolutes, man. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop trying to be
What
like
if
Well,
this
she-
is
that's what
absolute.
she was trying to
Yeah,
do
that's
to
not
me.
what she's saying. She's not. That's not. That's exactly not what she's saying. You're trying to pin her, and you're trying to pigeonhole into her into like this is an absolute. All of them do that. That's not how this works, and you know
Well,
that. And
I only
that's
did
your
that
out.
I only did that because she was trying to say there are no tariffs on American goods from Canada because I don't have evidence of them because
Right,
I'm not
and even if they're cool,
a business
Kurt,
that
even
does
if there
trade with
are
Canada.
tariffs, Donald Trump negotiated them. You're
No.
forgetting that part.
No,
The
Donald Trump is
USMCA
not
was
in
Donald
charge
Trump.
of what Canada does to America.
Bro, who negotiated the USMCA?
I don't know. I'm going to assume you're correct that it was Trump, but that
It
doesn't
was.
mean that Canada can't not abide by that and put tariffs on American goods or on.
So
Cool.
it took me
Well,
like a
then you'd
quick
have to
Google
show us.
search that 98% of all goods based on the literal agreement I brought up had no tariff costs, meaning 98% of all products, all goods, lumber, etc., had no tariff add-on from Canada prior to this trade war. It took me 5 seconds to find this. This is literally in the American, what is it? What is the CUSMA agreement, Canada, United States, Mexico agreement that Trump enacted. So he ensured that both Mexico and Canada would not tariff us to any large scale. And now he's doing a trade war and literally said on camera, I don't know who made these stupid deals. You did, actually.
I can't Google it because I'm on my phone to talk to you.
I mean, I
guys.
was on my phone. I just Googled it. You go out of the screen and you Google it, and you'll find that the literal Canada, United States, Mexico agreement under Trump's administration guaranteed that they would not exceed tariffs on it protected 98% of all goods from tariffs. That was part of the agreement, and ensuring that a majority of certain things, products, cars, etc., were produced by a certain percentage between the three nations.
So
Kurt.
tariffs are a tax on Americans.
Okay.
Still Googling.
So, what news stories did we have today?
Oh,
So we're done with that.
You
We were
you
waiting
went
for you to
silent. I don't know.
come back.
Sean, appreciate it. I think there was a tariff on dairy, but it only kicked in after a certain capacity, and we never hit it. Sean, appreciate the 5 over there. Thank you. Could we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for Sean? Andreu, appreciate it. Americans will really get it when they pay $10 for a cup of coffee at Starbucks due to high import tariffs. Appreciate it, Andreu. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for them? If you guys want to support, again, Venmo, Cash App in the bio. Would appreciate it. Trump is fucking. I'm gonna be honest. Creators right now are getting doubly fucked.
you know why we never hit the quota on dairy, though? You know why they never had to pay that tariff on dairy? Because
Why
they
is
don't
that?
drink our fucking milk. It's filled with hormones and shit they don't want, so they don't buy it.
Probably.
No, it's 100% why.
I don't doubt it.
Canada has more regulations on their meats and their dairies than we do, and like they don't want our stuff.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett's retiring. Can you believe that shit? He's 198 years old.
Yeah. Can we raise the minimum wage in this country for the love of God? Can we do that? Like, the prices aren't
Please.
going back down ever. Like, we need more money in the economy, very clearly. Raise the minimum wage. Price control fucking housing. I don't know what the fuck we're doing. It's really frustrating.
I was really excited to see Target CEO lost 44% of his annual income. It's like boycotts work, man. I haven't shopped there since Trump won or was entered in the scene.
The
Hey
Trump
guys,
administration.
I just came on to talk about that one specific issue. Appreciate you letting me
Alright,
on. Have a good day.
All right, be safe. The Trump administration just announced it will provide $1,000 stipend to individuals residing in the United States without legal authorization to choose to voluntarily return to their country of origin.
Now, wait a minute. Not
Yeah,
Donald
yeah.
Trump giving money away to migrants. I thought
The
we were
program
against
responds
that.
to Trump's campaign focus on immigration enforcement and mass deportation, aiming to reduce the costly detention and removal process.
So I just want to point this out real
the-
quick.
Jesus Christ.
I just want to point this out really quick. Donald Trump is offering $1,000 more to migrants than Biden or Kamala ever did.
Bro, if this isn't a trap, I am the worst trap smeller ever. This is a setup. Do not
Oh, it's a
sign up
setup
for
for
this.
sure. Nope,
Do
they're
not
gonna
sign
pay
up
you.
for this.
They're not gonna pay
They're
you.
not going to pay you. They're going to deport you to El Salvador. Don't do it.
I'm not pay you. Don't do it. And you ain't getting paid. You ain't getting paid. They might as well offer $10,000. You ain't getting paid. Period.
You
And it's
step
crazy
up
to
there,
me-
You're like, I want my $1,000. What are you going to do? You have no recourse to get that $1,000. You're done for.
Okay.
You're done.
I have people in the box. I kind of want to record a segment on that about what I think is going to happen with the economy here in a second. I think maybe we'll take one more and then we will. I'll record that segment for YouTube if that's all right. I got this person. I'm waiting for a minute. I don't know if they're going to connect or not because they might just have left a while ago. No, gas is going up. Gas is not going down. Right. Gas is absolutely not going down. I don't know what this lie's about. I haven't checked eggs. I was actually at the grocery store. Fucking shit. Oh my god, stuff's gone up. Oh my god. I was like, what the hell? What the helly? What's up, JC?
What's up?
What's going on? What's your take?
Now, I got a question for everybody. If tariffs is a tax for Americans, then why does every other country around the world tax us through tariffs? Are you trying to tell me they're trying to hurt their own people?
No.
That's not how it
In
works.
fact,
We've had that argument.
right, so no. So what they're trying to protect is their industry, right? So like for instance, we tariff cars coming in from overseas. It makes sense that we would do that because it's protecting jobs in the United States, right? Granted, the consumer is going to have to pay more, but it's protecting jobs here. It's protecting areas and, their regions and places that manufacture specific things. And what Trump is advocating for is that the things that are not going to come back to the United States, the things that we do not have a market for building in the United States, that all of those things will be tariffed, and that will hurt the consumer. So you kind of have to play this thing where you're like, we have to allow consumerism because that's how our economy operates, while simultaneously protecting jobs in the United States. And there's a balance there. And Trump's basically saying, no, we're going to tariff everything, no matter what it is, despite the fact that it will hurt the consumerism side of the American economy.
But isn't that
That
what
makes
every
sense.
other? Isn't that what every country does to us?
No, they don't always tariff things coming from us. But like France, for instance, would tariff like airplane parts coming out of the United States, right? Because they have Airbus and we have Boeing. So obviously they don't want Airbus competing with Boeing, right? Because it could hurt jobs there. So they'll put tariffs on that. But if we're sending them like fucking pastries, right? There's no real interest in protecting there's not enough volume of it coming in to disrupt pastry making in France, right? So they're not likely to tariff that. They're targeted. They're meant to protect a specific industry.
JC, if you take a look like around at what America makes, what we manufacture, it's things like cars, steel, agriculture, soy, corn. Those things Americans make, we don't need to buy from other countries. So if a country is trying to undersell us in, let's say, soybeans, it would make sense to put tariffs on that so that way we specifically protect American farmers or American steel workers or car. So we manufacture certain things. We don't manufacture things like, I don't know, plastic cups Okay, so we need to buy plastic cups from somewhere else. So to tariff plastic cups and cost us more money on those doesn't make sense because we're not protecting anybody's job here. We're just costing more money on plastic. If we had a plastic cup factory, that would make sense, but we would have to build an entire plastic cup factory. In 5 years, we could have cheaper plastic cups, and they still won't be as cheap. But until then, we need to buy plastic. You see what I'm saying?
But
We don't have the manufacturers here.
Y'all realize 50 years ago, we had all that.
Yeah, I know. We traded our manufacturing industry, like our entire economy, for technology. And we allowed other people to build the stuff that we use, but we don't want to build because we wanted to focus on technology, computers, artificial intelligence. These are the things that military, these are the things we wanted to focus on while other people built plastic cups. We don't need to waste our time building plastic cups, is my point.
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, I agree.
Be to bring
But at the
industry
same,
back.
I realize Trump is putting tariffs on some things that don't make sense. But at the same time, he's trying to get rid of the deficit that we have every year. And yes,
What deficit?
unfortunately,
Deficits aren't bad to have, bud.
when you have a trading deficit every year, it is.
I have a trading
deficits
deficit
aren't
with
bad.
Walgreens.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
have
buy
a
stuff from Walgreens, and Walgreens has never bought anything from me. They have a
Take-
trade
That's a trade
deficit. Do you see what I mean? That's a trade deficit.
Well, just really
That's
quick,
actually
you
a good
understand
point.
that you're saying trade deficit. That's, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're right. I think
No, I
there's
was just
a way.
gonna
Go ahead,
say
Jess.
trade deficit's kind of laughable because we're my signal's crap. But if we're buying in bulk from say China, like a company, a small business, and they're able that is that bad or good for that company?
Broke up a little bit there.
Company is able to buy a large number of products. I know, JC. If a company is able to buy large number of products and then upsell them to their consumer, still saving them money if they had gone and gotten it, say, overseas, is that good or bad for the company here in the U.S.?
No, it's good.
Okay,
But
so if we
let me
continuously, okay, you
let me
recognize how much?
explain.
Yeah.
Let me explain, and then you answer. Let's take the U.S. and Canada. Before Trump, we had no tariffs on Canada at all, for nothing.
And likewise, yes,
We had tariffs.
yeah, we
Canada,
paid because of his previous agreement. Yeah.
Canada has always had tariffs on us, always.
No, false. No, we already had
Yes.
discussed this. This is false. No, Trump's last agreement, the Canada, United States, Mexico agreement that replaced NAFTA, stated clearly that there must be no tariffs on 98% of products and goods. So no, the agreement
Just because there's an agreement in place doesn't mean everybody's been following it.
we had was that across the board, we would not be tariffing one another as three nations. We would be working as a partner and a collective. That's false.
Your audio's bit.
What you're saying.
Right. Go ahead, JC.
Okay, so you're saying it's false, but Canada for milk it was 125% or something like that.
At a certain threshold.
It wasn't.
Because they have, I mean, they obviously they need to, they have a certain amount of milk that they're trying to sell in their market, and if
2%
we're
of their milk.
competing with it, right? If we're competing with it, then that's a problem because we can, if we make it cheaper, whatever
that's
that
the
degree.
point. That's the point I'm trying to make. Is no matter the U.S. before Donald Trump has not had tariffs on anybody. the
No, we've
U.S.
had tariffs.
That's
the
false.
We've had
the
tariffs.
U.S.
We've
had
has
had
tariffs.
tariffs. Huh?
Consistently.
We've had tariffs. Really, but it's always been targeted.
Obama had tariffs. Biden had tariffs. We've all, every
Biden tariffed
president in U.S. history.
BYD.
Yeah, Biden and
Yeah.
Obama both had targeted tariffs. That is absolutely false what you're saying.
On
There
So
was
really-
literal targeted tariffs on China. Yeah.
So really quick. JC, like, let's work at how this is. If you go to, like, let's say you religiously shop at Walmart, right? And you buy stuff from them and they never buy anything from you, right? You're running a trade deficit with them, right? In part, you're running a trade deficit. And, sorry, you're running a trade deficit with them. The point of you doing that, though, is not that you couldn't go out and grow your own food. It may be difficult, but you could go out and start a garden. You could go out and raise animals. You could go out and knit your own clothes. You could go out and do all of that. But you have to put that up against your time, right? Versus what it's going to cost you to go out and buy this. And so we run a trade deficit with Walmart or whatever else because it saves us time, right? That we can utilize doing other things that are more beneficial. It would be non-beneficial for most people here to go out back and wash all of their clothes out there, right? Because there's an expense to that you're not using in your day-to-day. So you really are like, it's making your life easier so you can do other things that are more beneficial for advancing your life. Same thing with China. China handles a bunch of stuff that we don't want to do. Not only can we not do it, it's cheaper for them to do it, and it makes us easy. It makes it easier for us to go out and do things that we're really good at, like tech or whatever else. So running a trade deficit isn't always a bad thing. Now, if you're running a trade deficit and your products are competing with Chinese products, then that's a problem, right? But in the context of like, we just are buying more than we're selling to them, that's not always a bad thing, right? Because we're exporting, like, not everything is an export now, right? Ad space online is not an export anymore, right? So that's part of the thing, is that you're racking up a trade deficit because it's beneficial to your economy in its totality. They're doing something that you don't have to, right? Same thing with like subcontracting, right? They're better at it. They know what they're doing, et cetera, et cetera. So Andreu, appreciate it for the 10, how to shut them down. One little girl doesn't need 32 dolls. Do billionaires need 32 cars, 5 yachts, and 6 homes? Andreu, appreciate it. Thank you. Can we get some dust for Andreu? Sean, I have 400 plus million people buying products. Vietnam and other random small countries will never have equal trade. That's true. It was like, what do we have to sell to Vietnam, right? Sean, appreciate it. Thank you for the 5 over there. Fanatic, appreciate it. Has Trump or any of his cabinet explained how exactly China is ripping us off? I keep hearing Megan repeat this, but never with details. They just think an imbalance is ripping us off, but really China doesn't have anything they need to buy from us, really, to more than we need to buy stuff from them. So Fanatic, appreciate the 5. And Patch, appreciate the 10. Always spot on, Tommy. Appreciate it, Patch. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for all of them? Appreciate you guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. JC, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
I was-
Appreciate everybody. If we can get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for them, for the support, trying to make it through Trump's America. It's awesome. Yeah, JC?
So China keeps coming up.
Mhm.
So the U.S. biggest deficit, of course, is with China. If China wouldn't have any tariffs on us, there would be no deficit.
They have tariffs to protect certain industry, right? The same way we do. They don't have blanket tariffs. They want to sell us goods, right? And I think we thought about this the wrong way by trying to bring back manufacturing to dead industries. We could bring back manufacturing to renewable energy, right? The world is wanting that. China doesn't have the capacity to do it yet. They're working on it. We could invest into that. We could have renewable energy, and we could export energy to other countries. We could build it here, subsidize it even. Battery tech is huge. We have the ability to do it. China eventually will catch up, but we could get a head start. It's like China is not getting involved in airplanes and precision machining for airplanes because it's very expensive to get into that industry, right? And so it's like one of those things. It's like you set up enough of the infrastructure and China really can't compete, or they don't want to. It's not advantageous for them to do that. And it's the same thing with this. Trump's trying to have us make fucking plastic forks and shit, you know?
But why can't everybody just trade, take tariffs completely off table?
That's not his point, though. He doesn't. He's literally trying to isolate the country right now. He doesn't want free trade for all. He wants isolationism. He wants nationalism.
No.
He's wrapped it up in a free trade, but that's not his intention. If that was his intention, why is he punishing Americans to do this?
I don't think his intention is to punish us, but
regardless, impact over intent.
But okay. It's like being a parent, right? When you want to teach your kids, when you want to raise your kids a certain way and do the right thing, and sometimes you got to punish your kids, right?
What
got to
do we
make
need to
hard
be punished for,
choices,
guy?
right?
What do we need to be punished for? You are literally talking about punishing Americans for what?
And see, if take me for instance, I'm all for. If it's going to get worse for a little while, I'm all for it. But you gotta understand, there's more to China than just tariffs. Every time a U.S. company goes to China right now, the IP is stolen. China reproduces everything that the U.S. ever
that's not true.
comes up with. They
That's not true.
they take the patents and reproduce it cheaper and sell it back here.
That's not true. They
That's
actually
just
have
not-
pretty strict. They have pretty strict laws. Up until recently, they had really strict laws for like life in prison kind of shit.
I
If you
mean-
got caught manufacturing that stuff, and they followed them, man. They wanted to have trade with us and not piss off Americans.
Well,
So
what-
if they
what
were doing
planet are
that,
you
that would
from?
have. What plant? Look,
here-
they
What
can
planet are
make
you
cheap.
from?
They can make cheap knockoffs, but it's not the same thing. If they wanted to make, Louis Vuitton quality, they could in a second, but they don't. They make cheap knockoffs of it and sell it here.
Yes, they
Yeah, I
make
mean, the
cheap
thing is-
knockoffs of everything.
But they
I mean, the
make
thing
Louis
is,
Vuitton there. Why won't they just make it and sell it undercut them? Because they can do it cheaper. They don't because the IP laws.
Do you realize
They do. So there is a problem with China stealing stuff, right? But it's been amplified by this being worse because now they're just like, no, we're gonna steal it. So it's not like it's one of those things where China is trying really hard, specifically for tech. They don't really give a shit about like fucking purses and stuff. But when it comes to tech, sure. But that's more of like a state and a country thing. In terms of like intellectual property on like Louis Vuitton bags, I don't really give a shit. I mean, obviously there are companies that do that, but I wouldn't even understand what your problem is because in the United States, fucking corporations steal a lot of shit. They steal a lot of shit. And to try and say that they don't would be insane. Corporations in the United States absolutely steal shit from people every single fucking
I'm not
day.
I'm not saying by any means the U.S.
like this.
is
It's like this.
doesn't
I'll give you
do
a
it.
great example. Wells Fargo once every other year or so gets hit with several $billion fines because they issue out fees to the people that are they issue out fees and then they just pay the fines. And if nothing happens, they get to keep the fucking money or they get to pay out a fine equivalent to what they took. And so they're like, whatever, it's worth it for us. If we make $1 billion, we get away with one. It's worth it to us to screw people out of money. But literally, like once every 2 years, Wells Fargo gets hit with several $1 billion in a class action because they stole money from people. Literally it was to a point where it's like, fuck, again, they just do it. They do it. And they
Yeah,
take the
but
repercussions because it's cheaper.
I think the last time that happened to Wells Fargo, the government fixed the loophole. So the last
I don't know
time,
that they did. Yeah, Trump's
the
probably
last
gonna
time
do it,
Wells
but they did it. They've
Fargo,
done it like a dozen times. They've done it
right?
like a dozen times.
But the last time Wells Fargo got hit with a fine, the government also stipulated that they could not grow their portfolio any bigger than what it was.
Yeah, I would say that generally
So
speaking, like China does not. I will say this, like generally speaking, China does not like stealing like IP from like companies and shit like that, unless it's critical to what they view as national security. But now, no, I think they're just gonna go for it. They don't really have a reason not to.
But
So
here's another point to China. Not a single U.S. company can sue inside of China for anything. It is against their
yeah,
laws. But here in the U.S., China is allowed to sue us in our own courts, but we cannot sue them in theirs. Explain to me how that's fair.
I don't know that it is, but
I don't know that's
Sean,
true.
appreciate it. Thank you. That argument doesn't work. China is communism. You have to give the IP away a lot of times. The CEOs made that choice when they built the factory. A lot of it is just name brand, right? And having the market
There is
capacity in the
exceptions,
United
though.
States. So there is. Yeah, like
There
it's
is
not everything,
exceptions.
but
Commercial activity and anything that is arise from the T word.
I just don't understand why people just can't say wrong is wrong and right is right.
But Trump's
I
not doing
would
that.
largely agree, but that's not America. America's not set up to be right is right. We do not have a fair system at all. Period.
Amen to that.
Right. So in the instance of like China, like here's what I don't understand. This is what I really don't understand. We're going through a period of time where everything is going up, and instead of doing the obvious, which is raising the standard of living in the United States, the Republican solution is to lower the standard of living, and to reduce the buying power of Americans and cause inflation. And so I'm not understanding why the solution from Republicans wasn't just raise the minimum wage, because they're telling us that they're not concerned about inflation or it going up, which is what they say we can't have minimum wage increase for because of inflation. They're saying that we can't do all of these things because it'll be too expensive, but now they're advocating for life to be a lot more expensive. So I'm just confused. Because wouldn't it have made a lot more sense if we had raised the minimum wage, given out universal child care, given out free college so that we can get a well-educated population? Wouldn't that have made a lot more sense? That we did
Well,
these social programs that helped out Americans instead of rewriting the entire global economy?
Here's the thing. If you raise minimum wage, to me, raising minimum wage is just a smoke screen. Because if you raise minimum wage, all you do is raise costs.
Right, but you don't have a problem with that.
If corporations is paying me and you more, great. But then they turn around and put that cost back on us. So
Then why not
rather if
meaningful? But why not meaningful legislation to address corporate profits?
yes, I mean,
But you
if
guys,
you're
but you
gonna-
don't. But again, you don't have a problem with inflation from tariffs. With tariffs costing us more money.
But what I'm saying is, I'm all for minimum wage to go up. But unless if all you're going to do is raise minimum wage, you're not doing anything but temporarily making people think they have more money and they don't.
You know how we can
Right,
end
but
that
why not
really,
just
really quick?
continue raising that? Why not set up a thing for it to just continue so that we can increase the minimum wage whenever it gets, because I'm thinking like livable wage, like we should raise the minimum wage to a livable wage. I don't know, especially if we live in a consumer economy and our entire economy is based on the amount of money we can spend. Wouldn't it make sense that we would increase the amount that people have to spend, that we would take meaningful action to reduce the costs onto Americans, whether it be insurance, whether it be, whatever it is. Like,
No,
shouldn't we
I'm
be
with
working?
you.
I don't understand.
I'm with you on that. But
Right.
here's the thing: Congress doesn't address the other side of that ever, because if you raise minimum wage and that's it, you give people the false narrative that they have more money, but they don't, because corporate America is just going to raise their rates.
Okay, then
And
we need to
Con-
address
why
that,
we-
right?
Congress doesn't care, and Congress doesn't care because that's more taxes coming in. So
Yeah,
you
Right, but
have
I'm
to
saying
stop
wouldn't-
corporate. You have to stop
Wouldn't- right.
corporate from going up.
Right. So why wouldn't we address that? Because it seems like the Republicans are basically like, this is their take, is we're going to attack people that don't have jobs that we view as valuable, at the same time complain about the cost of everything, and then try and bring back a handful of jobs that are going to help only a handful of people. Why wouldn't we address the core issue? Why don't we raise the minimum wage? Why don't we give out universal health care? Why don't we bring down the cost of living? Why don't we rent control cap, right? Because a lot of the stuff that's being rented out now, these people are making exorbitant amounts of profit over houses they bought 30 fucking years ago. And now they're renting, or they're whatever else, they're Airbnb, and they're just making hand over fist over properties that they don't pay that much for, right? It's just pure profit for them. You could have a place, especially over the last few years, you could have a place where the person, their mortgage is 3,000, or their mortgage is like $700, $800, $900, and they're renting that place out for 2,200. So they're making 2x every single month, and it's not sustainable for the American economy. So why aren't we
No.
addressing those root problems?
And I this is me speaking for myself, but I think Trump is trying to do that.
No,
Right now, we send out billions
No,
and
he's not,
billions of our taxpayer money around the world. How are we going to get to socialized medicine or helping Americans when all we do is help around the world and not ourselves?
It does help us when we help around the world,
How?
because it brings back, like, if we wanted deals to be made with us and not China, it establishes connections with people. There's other benefits that we get from it in terms of trade, in terms of agreements, in terms of defense, in terms of a lot of different stuff. Not everything is bad in that regard. A lot of it's good.
No,
A lot
not
of it's very
everything is
good.
bad, but everything
Right, but
Doge
when you're
has
talking-
found, how does that benefit us?
Doge hasn't found anything. Doge has actually cost us more money.
How you figure?
We have spent
reading
since
tweets, man.
Trump took office, every month that he has been in, we have added more to the deficit than we did when Biden left.
Explain
the deficit
that.
is increasing
I
under
want to point
Trump.
something out real quick. I want to point out something real quick. I just Googled, are Americans allowed to sue in Chinese court? And it says yes. Americans can sue
Yes,
in
we
Chinese
are.
court, but not always straightforward. There's different processes that they have to go through because it's international courts. But yeah, we can sue in China. I just
Yes,
wanted to
it
double-check
says
that, man.
it says we can, but it never gets there. Of course it does.
Bro, it literally gives you 4 steps on how to do it.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but
I
go
know,
ahead and
I know,
try.
I know. Okay, I have no
JC,
reason
they
to.
will-
I just want to say that was completely inaccurate.
JC, you have to understand. Do you realize that we're paying, like Elon Musk is taking a salary. The people that he's bringing in to infiltrate these places are taking a salary, and then the damage they've actually done. Like, for example, when they eliminated the entire nuclears team,
You
and then
realize
realized after the fact, oh
you
crap,
realize
we
Elon Musk has said multiple times on live TV he has not taken a dime.
I don't care what he says.
He
We're
took a
just
bunch
we're,
of
we're
money for
explaining to you.
contracts.
Right, he's gotten contracts. In fact, he's gotten one contract since he's taken that role approved, but he already had existing contracts in the billions. So like I don't really care what he says on TV. Okay. I can get on TV and say I snorkel and I don't know what that means. Like that's like the fact that you take people's word at face value without any verification is very alarming. So I'm just saying, we know for a fact that we have spent millions of dollars just in funding his staff and his actions. And we also lost an enormous amount of money because he released multiple employees that were either illegally not able to be released or that they actually needed. And then they cost themselves more money trying to locate some of these hires to bring them back on board. Also, we currently have an entire NIH crew that is being paid a full salary and not being allowed to work. Like the amount of money that we're spending is insane. He has not canceled any like real contracts. He says he's canceled something. A lot of these contracts he's made claims on have either been fully paid, they've already been fully they've already had the money put to them, so he can't do anything about. Like, he's lying. He might have saved us maybe a few $1,000,000, and it wasn't because he got rid of fraud, waste, or abuse. He got rid of things he didn't like the sound of, and he illegally eliminated them. That's not the same thing.
This is like everything you've said. I've literally seen in tweets from Elon or Donald Trump. I don't know.
Right, they're
Do you
not
follow
they're
the
not
host?
saving us
You
money.
should
And
follow the
just
host.
I just want to point this out.
You're gonna learn
okay,
stuff.
like
So
like,
explain to me why an American was going to benefit from a transgender Sesame Street.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Can somebody explain that one?
wait, what?
No, man. I'm kind of.
What'd he say?
I'm kind of done. He's attacking
What?
transgender
What'd he say?
individuals now.
What did he say? I didn't. What are you
Y'all
upset
got
about
quiet
trans
really
people
fast
for?
here. Can
Like,
somebody
are
explain
you a
that one?
troll, JC?
What
We've
what
been
is
talking
what a
economy
trans how
for
do
the
trans
last 20,
people?
20 minutes.
I know why are we going to this?
No, this
Really
is
quick.
economy. Our tax
no, that's
dollars
not.
paid for this.
No. It's
So
not.
tell me how we're benefiting from it,
How much is the
economy-wise.
kick
How we're
pool?
benefiting from
$30?
it from acceptance and inclusion? I don't understand. Yeah, it's still there's nothing
Yeah.
in the kick pool. But why do you? I fundamentally I don't understand this at all. I don't understand why you care.
JC, how
I
old are
don't
you?
understand.
I'm
As someone,
genuinely
I have a
curious.
son. I have a son. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't know why people are upset about this or why it bothers them. I couldn't tell you.
No, it
Why are
doesn't
we
bother me.
addressing this?
It doesn't bother me at all. I could care less
I don't.
if
I don't.
I
I
could
don't. Why
care
are we
less if
talking about
someone.
trans people?
I could care
Stop,
less if
JC.
someone
Stop,
is.
JC.
is-
Stop. Just stop.
whatever.
We're not. This is. We were talking about the economy. We were talking about tariffs. We're not going to use this platform to attack transgender individuals right now.
I'm not trying to attack them.
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
trying to.
Then
I'm
quit.
asking.
Then quit. Then quit with your line of questioning. Go to something else.
Why does it? I don't understand. I don't understand why everyone's obsessed over. It's just weird to me.
By the way,
honestly.
I'm 47 years old.
Great. You're a year older than me. Congrats. How'd you get to this old ass age and not understand how conversations work?
I didn't realize I was
So
going to
what
hit a
it-
nerve.
What is the? I mean, I'll be real. It's weird when grown adults attack trans kids. It's real fucking weird to me.
I'm not attacking trans kids. I'm asking how we benefit from it.
By inclusion.
Benefiting from
Pretty
acknowledging
simple.
people's
I don't-
existence? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand this question.
I don't understand.
Wait, JC, general question. Can you tell me how old you are? I'm genuinely curious. I'm 43. Just for context. How old are you?
I said 47.
47.
Wait, how does?
Okay, so like you grew up with Mr. Rogers, right?
I did.
Okay, did you grow up with Sesame Street?
I did.
Okay, do you recognize that since the beginning of their existence, they have done completely inclusive things? They've talked about two mothers, they've shown breastfeeding live on TV, they've talked about interracial relationships. Why are you now all of a sudden upset that they're also acknowledging the existence of trans people? Why
No.
that is literally what they've been doing since the beginning of their existence.
Why did that have to be done overseas? Why did our tax money have to go overseas? Is what I'm saying.
That was false. The information around claiming that we were spending money on Trent was actually false. It was about an arts project, had nothing to do, there was no language in there identifying specifically on transgender communities. This is another example of you listening to the words of an individual and trusting them at face value without doing a little due diligence and going and actually looking at the contracts. There have been countless people that have done the research for you and shown that the claims are on these contracts. For example, I'll give you another one. Transgender mice. They weren't transgender mice. They were transgenetic. It was talking about literal science that was
So
looking at genetics. Like, you need to go look at actual information instead of
really
taking
quick,
the word of these idiots that are lying to you.
two things. One, Fanatic, appreciate the $5. Thank you. How did we benefit from Trump going to the Super Bowl or riding around a racetrack that cost taxpayers millions? Fanatic, appreciate it. Can we get some dubs and drumsticks in the chat for that? I did. So, you know what's super funny is they figured out what the study was. I think the Trump administration said this, and then they went and found an accompanying study as to what they canceled. But people were like, well, what does that have to do with transgenic mice? And as it would turn out, no, they did cite a study that does have to do with stuff. And you know what it has to do with? This is what the study had to do with. It didn't have to do with anything trans. What it had to do with was which hormone and does hormones affect wound healing in mice? And they're saying that has to do with trans.
If it made
The
them
trans
susceptible to
study.
other diseases. That's what it was.
Yeah. They were testing hormones specifically and how it reacted with, this is what the Trump administration cited, how it reacted with wound healing, which doesn't have to do anything with trans, unless you're like, oh, they're going to give you estrogen to help with your wound healing, you know?
Remember what I was saying
But
about
we weren't talking about the
everything you said
economy.
was a
I
tweet?
don't know.
Everything
I don't know
you've
what's
said
happening.
has been a tweet from Elon or Donald Trump. Hey, man, can you tell me what a primary source is?
Are you talking to me? Hello?
You ain't talking to me.
What was the question?
Get the food out of your mouth before you talk to me. That's my statement. Now my question was, can you tell me what a primary source is?
A primary source of what?
Okay. Of anything you've mentioned.
Isaac, appreciate it. Thank you. Congrats, Mega. We got rid of trans mice and saved $5 each. Wow. Prepare to pay for a $1 trillion Pentagon budget. We love cutting spending. Right. Trump gave away $4.5 trillion. $4.5 trillion to billionaires and to the ultra wealthy in this country. And they're over here like, oh, God, the fucking studying we're doing that's going to save human lives. It's a little too trans for me. I don't know. And you know what's weird to me? So I was watching, me and the missus were watching Martin the other day. And I don't know if you remember that show, but they do I know this isn't trans, but they do drag and stuff. And pretty much every show from the 90s has a bit where somebody's doing drag. And Republicans are like, oh, that's hilarious. And then now they're just like, oh my God, how could we? Miss Doubtfire is suddenly taboo, you know? Literally every show from the 90s, right? Whether it was kid show or not, had people in drag. And now that's, they're freaking out about it. And I remember growing up, there wasn't this weird, bizarro hatred towards trans people, you know? It was more of a societal thing. Yeah. So,
All right, guys. Y'all
You
White
trolled
chicks.
enough, huh?
y'all made my lunch break real interesting. I got to get back to work. Enjoyed it.
All right, take care.
Y'all take care.
Can we get some dubs for Isaac? Appreciate it. Medea, the list goes on. And I don't really, Despicable Me, pretty much every show from the night, it's a really popular theme, and suddenly, drag has become taboo. Honestly, I really just think it's internalized homophobia, be real with you.
I can't think of one kid show that the main character didn't dress up as a girl for laughs for one episode.
Yeah. No,
Like
I mean
Saved by the
you think about
Bell, I mean, any of them they did.
Nickelodeon, Josh and Drake, iCarly. Pretty sure that was a theme of one of the shows. Literally, I cannot think of a show where that's not a bit. It's just
Somebody
such a
said the
standard
Pope.
bit in every show. The Pope. I
And
mean,
they're
yeah.
not wrong.
I mean, every single.
Donald
it's just
Trump and the
every
AI.
single. Yeah, Rudy Giuliani, and you know, it's weird to me, the obsession. I really think what it is just internalized homophobia. I really think that's what it is. That they are so obsessed with coming out, because like I remember when I was younger and people were like, you know, you're GAY. I was like, okay, doesn't offend me if you know what I mean. And it's just a weird cultural phenomenon where like they're so incredibly fragile. Like these young men are so incredibly fragile that they're not confident in their sexuality, right? And like, yeah, I'm not gay, but there's some guys like, Jesus fucking Christ, good for you. Good for you. And we all,
I'm
and
not gay, but have you
nobody
seen Thorne
here.
Bradley?
I know, I'm not gay, but this, you know, and it's interesting because there's a lot of like right now there's Republicans going, oh my God, you think that? You're on the DL. And it's like, we have a culturally acceptable person that every person in America would date. Straight or not, it's Ryan Reynolds, right? That's the culturally acceptable one. And everybody will be like, yeah, I do, Ryan Reynolds. And then they just turn around and they're, you know, oh my God, you would say that? You know what I mean? You got to be comfortable. And these guys are not comfortable. Very, very, very concerned. And that's weird societal interaction. I don't get it. But I will say, conservative men are keeping trans hub stars going exclusively. Exclusively.
That's fair. That's fair. We got 4 people.
You know, that's a
in chat-
fact.
or in queue.
I don't think anybody is debating. I'm going to clear it really quick. I think I'm going to record this segment and then call it out. I am live 9 p.m. Pacific every single day. Tomorrow, we're going to be having a long one. We're going to go from 9 to 3, and then we're going to not have a night live, but 9 to 3. And then, yeah, so we're going to have a long live tomorrow. So there's that. I'm trying to stream more, especially on Tuesdays and Thursdays, because TikTok's not really paying. I got to go crank out a video here in a minute. I did want to record this segment here. Yeah, I wanted to talk more about this, about what you guys think the recording is, or what the economy is going to go. So I'm going to hit the record on YouTube. Please do not invite anyone. Would appreciate it. Sound good? All right. All right. So I wanted to talk about two things that I view are really important. One, the Trump administration is trying to give $1,000 to migrants that self-deport, that leave. First things first, he's never going to pay that. But I also find it funny that he's offering more money to migrants than either Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. And I thought Republicans were against this, against giving migrants money. I guess not. It is funny that he's like sort of backtracked from this, where, you know, he was like, they're going to deport and get everybody to leave and it's going to be really easy. And Trump knows what he's doing, to suddenly like, I'm going to have to pay people to leave. So there's like a weird backtrack there. But I wanted to talk about in conjunction with the economy, because we're going to start seeing labor shortages here relatively shortly. And we're also seeing issues with consumption in terms of, you know, the amount of agriculture that's going to be able to pick is going to be declining. And there's a lot of consequences that are going to happen and how that's all sort of going to play out. So I think first thing to talk about here, and I have Joss and Jess, I don't know how much they want to join in, but the first thing is we're going to look at the imports. The imports is declining. 35% contracts are being canceled. Truck drivers are sitting at ports of entry. And so I think as I'm watching this emerge, I'm sort of tracking to see like what unforeseen consequences are there going to be. And basically what I've found out is all of them. There will be endless unforeseen consequences as a result of this. Truck drivers, especially those that are owner operators or those that are, you know, trucking companies. They're going to get hit hard. And especially if they're long haul transportation truckers, they have major overhead with their cab. Those trucks cost $500,750,000. They're very expensive. It's a house. And so you can imagine paying a $5,000 a month, $4,000, $3,000, whatever it is, overhead, and just keeping your truck going and not having any loads is going to create a lot of burden. A lot of trucking companies already accrued an incredible amount of debt throughout the pandemic, and so expect more. On top of that, because there's so many available truckers, the amount of volume or the amount of value per load is going to decline. And so there's going to be that issue. You're going to have truckers running into incredible debt. You're going to have distribution warehouses running less. And basically what I'm kind of viewing here is there's going to be after 3-4 months or so, there's going to be like a full-blown breakdown in the transportation services and distribution services of this country. And what's concerning is because the numbers are coming out, like we talked about the decline in GDP, which there was a decline in GDP. I talked about it the night before those numbers were released and was basically like, it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't see that much of a drop off because there's not that much of a decline yet. This next quarter though, we're going to see it. And so my fear here really is that when the numbers start coming out over the next few months, the Trump administration is ignoring that this is a problem because they want to make it, you know what I mean? Like we're going to have, we have negative 2% GDP growth through the next quarter, right? They'll find a way to attempt to justify that. And then pretty soon we're just walking into this trap, this worse situation where it's like, everything's shutting down now. We're in a full-blown free fall and no one saw it coming. No one prepared for it. And we have truckers going under. We have distribution warehouses laying people off and firing people. And we don't really even at that point, if this goes on for 2 or 3 quarters, we won't have the ability just to restart it. So I'm curious as to what your thoughts are on that. But that's kind of my thought is we're going to watch the distribution infrastructure break down. And by the time those numbers come out and the Trump administration realizes that there is a problem, we're going to be too deep to backtrack. And we're going to be in a real bad position. I hope that doesn't help or that doesn't happen, but that seems to be what it looks like we're heading for. And on top of that, kicking migrants out of the country, driving down the price of agriculture or driving up the price of agriculture is going to have dire effects on restaurants. I don't know if you guys know this. Restaurants bring in about 30% of all the agriculture in this country goes into warehouse or goes into restaurants. And if they're not bringing it in, then that's going to decline the amount that's obviously being sold. Restaurants are going to get hit because prices are going to go up. People aren't going to be able to afford to eat out. There's already a lot of problems and we're just headed for a full-blown depression. And at that point, again, the Trump administration kicks out so many people, scares so many people away. How do they come back? How do they, if you're an immigrant looking at this going, I just violently kicked out of the country by the Trump administration. How do you trust them to come back when they're inevitably like, no, we need more workers? I don't know how that's all gonna pan out, but Jess and Josh, I wonder if you guys got your thoughts on it. But my thought is this is going to be probably a lot longer of a decline. Because those numbers are going to take some time, and then we're going to watch it where it's just really bad all of a sudden. It'll just be like, this is bad. I think we'll see stuff off the shelves over the next 6 weeks or so. We'll start seeing empty shelves, but I don't think the Trump administration will recognize this as being a problem. And then we'll end up, in a really bad spot. So what are your guys' thoughts on
I think
this?
that's already being I think that's already been proven true, quite honestly. We saw the recent interview on ABC and he was bold-faced lying about, I didn't say you're going to get less dolls because things aren't going to be on the shelf. Like he knows what's coming and he's trying to pivot. So I think your assessment is pretty accurate.
Yeah. I think that's really what I'm thinking is he's going to attempt to convince everybody of this and convince them and drag it down. And then at a certain point, it's just not going to be, and he's going to attempt to pivot. I think by that point, we'll be in pretty dire economic circumstances. I don't foresee it being a good outcome, and I think they'll backtrack on the tariffs. I wish I knew, and everybody, I think, on planet Earth wishes they knew what he wanted out of these tariffs, but it's becoming crystal clear that it's going to be real real bad here real soon. Port volume's drying up, contracts are drying up. We'll see what happens here. I don't know, Josh. Thoughts?
So they just had a report saying that the last ship coming from China, the last non-tariffed ship, has entered American waters. So everything after this is going to be tariffed. We're already seeing a 35% decrease at the ports in Los Angeles and along the West Coast. The East Coast isn't hit as hard because they have stuff coming from Europe still, but the longshoremen there, the factory workers there that pulled those products off, they're no longer going to see overtime. They're going to have their hours cut. That's going to be a big problem for just Americans trying to survive, not making enough money to survive anymore. From the truck drivers not being able to deliver food. If there's no food to deliver, there's no stock people in the stores to put it. I mean, everybody's going to be affected down the line. They've been saying 6 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 weeks. Well, that was about a week ago. They started saying that. So I honestly think we're closer to 5 weeks before we start seeing it. And I hope to God that I don't even believe in that I'm wrong. I hope I'm just fear mongering right now. But this is not me. This is what experts are saying.
Yeah. I mean, I wish that we would be wrong. I just don't really see a way out of it. Unless they reverse course, this is sort of what we're headed for. The thing that I think is most important about, what's coming is we do not know the full extent of it, right? It was impossible to fully view, like, what is this going to do to the global economy? So some things will change, some things will be worse, some things will not be as significant as we originally thought that they would be. And expect to be wrong. Expect to be wrong in this. Because we fundamentally don't know what this is going to happen. We don't know how countries are going to react. We don't know how China's going to react. We don't know, we saw where countries started cutting bonds, right? And then the Trump administration was like, oh, okay, well, actually, we're going to reverse course. And that has to do with the financial impact of a failing bond market, right? Where all these other countries own these bonds. We can't buy them up. They have to go out onto the market, so they can just dump a ton of them at once and make the bond market unsecure, and then we're paying more in interest on the same debt, which is what happened. Did that scare the Trump administration into backtracking and backpedaling on tariffs? I don't know. But I generally think that, and I talked about this with what happened in Ukraine with the deal that I pinned, that I forgot to answer that question. I'm sorry, I'll get to that right after this. But he's going in a circle, trying all available routes, and then ending up right back where the previous administration started, or where, he's ending up right at the point of why, hey, this wasn't going to work, and why you were told it was going to work, and why experts said it was going to work. And in this instance, because the lag time on, the economic hardship, because of that lag time, we may not know the full extent until we're in it, right? Until it's like, oh, the economy stopped. Oh, numbers are coming out. Oh, one right after the other, right? This is bad. This is, okay, it's getting a little worse. It's getting a little worse. Okay, no, this is bad. This is really bad. This is, there's going to be a lag time there. It was when we were originally having this conversation, I didn't envision Trump backtracking 9 different times in 9 different ways on tariffs. So if he backtracks, yeah, it could change the trajectory. If he had went full blown on tariffs, we'd be in the middle of economic catastrophe right now. But he didn't. He went in, he backed off, he found ways around it, he's testing stuff out, and he's ending up and finding out the same exact thing that we've been telling him, which is this isn't going to work. This is not the way that he should have done it. But you hand a billionaire that's never faced a hard day's work in his life, you hand him an economy and say it's all messed up, who's he going to blame? People overseas. Why? Because he doesn't want to blame the real problem, which is him and his billionaire friends. And America's suffering as a result of it. So I think this will be a slow decline. I think we're going to see serious economic pressure probably by the 3rd quarter of this year. I expect we'll probably flounder somewhere around there. I don't think any of the job numbers are going to be that terrible for the next month or two. There's probably going to be a 3-month lag time. But going into that 3rd quarter, that 4th quarter even, oh yeah, it's going to be real bad. And by that point, the fear I have is that other countries don't trust Trump and they're going to continue to apply pressure regardless. And then we end up in a situation where we just can't back out of. But yeah, I expect we're going to probably face negative job losses or negative job growth this year. GDP growth is going to go down negative at some point during this year. We're already watching it. But, one of the things that was becoming apparent going into this was like, this is a system that has been self-fixing forever, right? The rich and the elite in this country will protect this system because it benefits them. And in this instance, it's very clearly they're attempting to insulate themselves. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to do that, but yeah, I expect this to be a longer process. Could it go out to 2 years of an economic decline? Yeah. If enough changes are made, do I expect that to be the case? No. I truly believe that the Trump administration is going to follow this down until it becomes completely obvious that it's not justifiable. And then they're going to find a way to blame Biden and say, oh, we're changing course. We're changing, and they're going to take credit for the course change. So I think that's likely what's to happen. But that's my thoughts on the economy right now. Obviously, I've been stewing over this for about 6 months, so figuring out exactly what's going to happen, I don't know. But I expect the first thing is major layoffs on the infrastructure of delivery in this system in this country, which we saw with UPS. And just to be clear, sorry if I'm yapping a little bit, but I'm not convinced that they did that entirely because of the tariffs. I think they did a lot of that because of the tariffs. I think that they were planning a restructuring anyways. UPS likes to shake things up like that. But yeah, tariffs definitely did play into that. I think it was one of those things where it's like, tariffs are coming. We've been trying to justify having this. I think we'll just go ahead and cut our ties here and reduce volume and prep because they're going to have a volume reduction anyways. But you're going to see truck drivers go under. That'll start happening at the 3 or 4 or 5 month mark. You're going to see distribution warehouses lay people off. You're going to see them close down. Yeah, it's going to be pretty rough. And prices on Amazon are about to be jacked up. Dollar store is going to be in serious trouble. Americans are going to be really hurting for money here in the next few months. And yeah, I'm not really sure how because I went to the grocery store last night, just as a side note before we end this segment. I went to the grocery store last night. They jacked everything up. Everything's been jacked up. I think it's like, what is it? Was it,
Have you seen the price of
yogurt,
beef?
like in the cups or whatever?
Christmas, man.
Yeah.
Beef is
Yeah.
so expensive right now.
Yeah. No, I bought yogurt.
I know you're getting ready to go,
And
but
like
I'm
the
curious
4
what your,
case was a
I'm curious what your
Chobani.
thoughts are on Virginia.
Went up like $1.50. Virginia. My thoughts on what?
What about it?
On Virginia elections.
I have not looked into it at all yet, to be honest with you. But I can. When are the elections? I'll look into it. It's okay. Yeah, I know. But, like I went to girlfriend and I went, she made pasta. By the way, fantastic cook. Obsessed with her. Just amazing person. $70 something. Because 20 of it was rib. 22 or something was just beef. It's like, what the fuck? Good Lord. Good Lord. Anyway.
Yeah, man. The beef was like $8 a pound for the cheap stuff.
Yeah.
That's
So
expensive, bro.
it's gonna go up though. It's gonna go up. We're gonna see it go up, and I expect a slow, inevitable decline through the year. So prep for it. We'll see what happens, but yeah. Anyways, if you guys want to support the channel, there is a Venmo Cash App in the bio. I have to go get my son, so there's that.
Speaking of that, did you know
and,
Wu-Tang
yeah,
is
I
for
will-
the children?
The Wu-Tang Clan.
I just read that on my. You mentioned your kid. Anyway, you guys have.
Yeah, I'll be on
You guys have a good
tonight.
night.
I'll be on
Y'all be
tonight
safe.
at 6
Sorry.
p.m. Pacific. I'll be on tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific, begging for money. I'm not Trump. I'll be on live at 6 p.m. Pacific. And you guys can catch me then. Tomorrow I'll be live at 9 a.m. and I'll be live through about 3. So I'll be live for that whole block of time. We're gonna do like a little kind of subathon
Tommy.
thing, and then it'll be 9 a.m. Take care, Jess. 9 a.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific. Tomorrow is just a little bit different, as I have plans in the afternoon. So I was gonna run a whole long live, but we'll have a little bit of a subathon if you guys want to join tomorrow, and we'll hopefully get some debates in here, have some fun with it, and yeah. I'm going to go get my son. I will see you guys at 6 p.m. Pacific. Y'all take care.